in downtown Munich. Now, I'm here for a slightly different reason, which I'll explain in just a bit, but big news that just came out. We had the Safer Cars for India program, new crash test results coming in from Global NCAP for Indian-made cars yet again this morning. I don't know if you've seen the news already, but we have results for the India-made Honda Amaze, the Mahindra Bolero Neo, and the Kia Carens. Interesting because all three are extremely different in terms of how we have to interpret these scores. Now I'm going to start with the Honda Amaze. 2 stars for adult occupant protection and none for child safety. I have to tell you, first off, a lot of this has to do with the fact that certain equipment isn't standard on the Amaze. So that's the bad news, that we don't have too much standard equipment on the Amaze. The good news, structurally the car looks pretty solid. So improvements can be relatively easily made by Honda. And that's something for the company to think about, starting to look at making more equipment as standard. Then you got the Mahindra Bolero Neo. Huge disappointment, of course, because Mahindra has had a great track record up till now. We're only talking about 4 and 5 stars. In fact, the company made that commitment saying we won't have new vehicles without at least a 4 or a 5-star rating. That's kind of changed with the Bolero Neo. I know the excuse will be that this is an older platform car. It's just a facelift of the TUV 300. But point is, coming away with a 1-star rating for both child and adult occupant protection is rather disappointing. You also have jump seats in the 3rd row of the Bolero Neo. Don't even get me started on that. All right. And then you've got the Kia Carens. Now, this is an interesting story because the Carens was first tested under the former regime, the previous protocol at Global NCAP for India, which was, let's say, a little less stringent. It got 3 stars at the time. Now, there was a whole move to improve that vehicle's overall performance, go back for another round of tests. It actually scored 0 stars because there were certain calibration issues with some of the equipment, though at the time it did manage a 4-star rating for child occupant protection. Kia, nice that we've seen this kind of a response from the company. It went back to work, again started to work on making the car a little bit safer, took some of the feedback that they got from Global NCAP, and they worked on the car again, and now have come away with a nice solid 3-star rating. I say that because it's not just barely made it there, it's got a decent score. And then on child occupant protection, 5 stars. That's kind of relevant from the point of view of this being a family car, this being an MPV. And of course, remember that this rating only applies if you use the equipment correctly, which means for that 5-star child safety rating, little kids have to be in seatbelt, in CRS systems, and of course the older ones have to be in the back wearing their seat belts for that to apply. So how do we interpret these scores? Well, they're all wildly different from each other. I would love to know what you think. So once I post this video, please leave comments and react to what has come out today. Wildly different scores, things you expect from certain manufacturers, things you do not. And now I'll quickly tell you before I sign off where I am. So ADC Headquarters, ADC, remember, is also the crash lab where we've always gone for all these crash tests, including the crash tests that you've seen come out today. Now, this is, of course, a safety watchdog here in Europe, in Germany for sure, and it's a huge partner to Global NCAP. Global NCAP is hosting its NCAP 24, the Safety World Congress here, and I'm here as a speaker and also the MC for the day. And you can see all the various NCAPs around the world are associated with this event, which means that you've got ASEAN NCAP, Euro NCAP, the Japan NCAP, National Highway Transport Safety Administration from the US, Bharat NCAP, of course, Safer Journeys, hashtag is what we'll be using today, IIHS, Latin NCAP, Global NCAP, the Korea NCAP, China NCAP, and the Australasia NCAP as well. All right, you heard the little gong go off in the back. I have to now head up to the stage. Lots more from me through the day, but please react to these 3 crash tests coming out once again as big headlines from Global NCAP for India-made vehicles.
Stop.